Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, Verse number 16. Yam vaina gobhir manasa subhirva Rida girava subhrito vichakshate Atmanam antarhridhi santamatmanam Chakshur yathaiva kritayastatha param. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. As the different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes, the living entities cannot see the Supreme Lord, who is situated as the supersoul in everyone's heart. Not by the senses, by the mind, by the life air, by thoughts within the heart, or by the vibration of words, can the living entities ascertain the real situation of the Supreme Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although the different parts of the body do not have the power to see the eyes direct the movements of the body's different parts. The legs move forward because the eyes see what is in front of them, and the hand touches because the eyes see touchable things, touchable entities. Similarly, every living being acts according to the direction of the Supersoul who is situated within the heart. As the Lord Himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam ja. I am sitting in everyone's heart and giving directions for remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. Elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita it is stated, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishtati. The Supreme Lord, as the Supersoul, is situated within the heart. The living entity cannot do anything without the sanction of the Supersoul. The Supersoul is acting every moment, but the living entity cannot understand the form and activities of the Supersoul by manipulating his senses. The example of the eyes and the bodily limbs is very appropriate. If the limbs could see, they could walk forward without the help of eyes, but that is impossible. Although one cannot see the Supersoul in one's heart through sensual activities, his direction is necessary. So this is the third chapter of the 6th canto, wherein the Yamaraja is instructing his messengers. That's the chapter title. Yamaraja instructs his messengers, the Yamadutas. And this is one of the instructions that he is giving to the Yamadutas. And why this instruction? Because the Yamadutas were completely baffled when they went to capture Ajamila and bring it to their master Yamaraj, because 4 other great personalities had come, the Vishnudutas had come, and they had foiled the plans of the Yamadutas. And the Yamadutas had never faced this kind of a defeat ever before, because Yamadutas always thought that Yamaraj is the highest, their master is the highest, and the orders of Yamaraj, my master, can never be defeated by anyone else. It cannot be subdued by anyone else. So they were rightfully executing their order, and they were baffled because they didn't know that Ajamila had chanted the holy name of Narayana, and the holy name of Narayana is so powerful that there is nothing higher than that. So they go back to Yamaduta and they ask him this question, is there someone higher than you? They go back to Yamaraj and ask this question, is there someone higher than you? Because for the first time we have faced defeat. So it looks like there is someone even higher than you, whose instructions have prevailed. So who is that someone? We have never seen him. Can you please tell us more? Is there someone? So that is how they questioned Yamaraj, and this is what Yamaraj is now replying. Yes, there is someone higher than me, higher than all the demigods, Indra, Chandra, Surya, Agni, all the demigods. And that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here in this verse he is saying, although he is existing, we are unable to see him. But just because we cannot see him doesn't mean that he does not exist. So in this verse, he is nicely explaining how, although we are unable to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the present state, which is the conditioned state, he nevertheless exists. And it is because of him that everything is happening so nicely in this material world. And the example that he is giving here is the example of the different limbs in the body and the eyes. So this is what Yamaraja is saying in this verse. As the different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes. See, not all portions of my body can see the eyes. But do the other portions of the body say that the eye don't exist? No, in fact, eye is the most important organ. It is because of the eye that things are happening. The leg is moving forward because the leg is not seeing what is in front of him. The eye is seeing what is in front of the body, and the eye directs the leg to move forward. So the leg is thinking that, oh, I'm working so well, but he's forgetting that I'm working so well because of the existence of the eye. He cannot see the eye, but the eye exists. So in the same way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists. And it is because of him that every living entity, not only every living entity, but everything in this material world is functioning so nicely. Just like Prabhupada says, whenever there is an order, an arrangement, means there is a higher power existing. Because we cannot see the powerful, doesn't mean that the powerful does not exist. Because we can see the order and arrangement is an indication that the powerful exists. So here it is Yamaraja is saying that yes, Lord exists. And then Prabhupada writes in the purport also about this, how we can see the Lord, or we are unable to see the Lord right now because of our contaminated state. So this is such a wonderful topic, seeing the Lord. We are unable to see now, but as devotees, our goal should be how to see the Lord. This is such an interesting, exciting topic. Just like we get so excited about meeting or seeing someone very powerful or very influential, whether due to wealth or due to beauty or due to power, we want to see someone. Oh, it's so exciting. So in the same way, for devotees, this is an exciting topic. I want to see the Lord. But if someone is not a devotee, then even if you talk to him, you want to see. So we have this experience sometimes. When we talk to somebody who is not a devotee, who is not devotional, who is too materially engrossed, this topic or this subject matter about seeing the Lord does not excite him. It does not interest him. It interests us very much, but not to the materially engrossed person. Because he cannot connect with it. So Prabhupada in one lecture gave a nice example to explain this. He gave a Bengali proverb. There's a Bengali proverb, Adar Vyapari Jahajer Khobor. Adar Vyapari Jahajer Khobor means Adar. Ada means adrak, ginger. Vyapari means one who deals in ginger. Jahajer Khobor. He's asking about when is the next ship coming for shipment. So it is basically, it's a proverb to say, oh, he's a ginger seller and he's talking of big things about shipment. He will not really be interested. Because ginger, if shipment means what? When you go to any trader, when he's trading in something, he's just bothered about his trade. He will talk about big shipment only if he has to ship a large quantity, right? But ginger is such a thing, you ship in small quantities. If you have a big sack of ginger, it will last many months. You can't ship containers of ginger. Whereas a person who is dealing with rice and wheat, he will talk about large shipment. And he'll be interested how to save money. Or if I send this many tons, then I'll save money. He'll talk about shipment. But if you go and talk about shipment to a ginger trader, he will not be interested, because that is not his subject matter. So for devotees, the subject matter is God, and how to understand God, how to see God. So that is why we must, if we have to see God, understand God, appreciate God, we have to talk to devotees, or we have to talk to those persons who are connected with the subject matter. It's like if you go and talk to a ginger merchant about shipment, he's not interested. He doesn't know, he cannot give information. So only by associating with devotees, with pure devotees, or devotees of pure devotees, will we be able to understand God. And we should not try to understand God or see God or think or understand anything about God by any kind of person. Generally what happens in the material world, people get very captivated by persons who show a little magic or who possesses a little siddhi. And that's why there are so many false gurus today in the material world. And we think that these gurus, because they show some kind of they can somehow enchant the common public, the innocent public. We think, yes, he knows about God, let me go and surrender to him. But no, we should not. A person who is really dealing with that subject matter, understanding God, is the business of pure devotees. Not someone who has got some power, some show, because we get bewildered by these external powers and show. So Prabhupada once said that when he was in Benares, there was one Swami. His name was Trilinga Swami. And he actually it's very interesting, it appears, actually today's world, if you see, you will hardly find anybody possessing some real siddhi. What people do today is just some magic and jugglery. That's all that people do today. But when Prabhupada is talking in his lecture, it seems that in those years, 1960s, and we're almost talking about 70, 80 years back, people did possess a little siddhi, and that's how they would bewilder people. So Prabhupada mentions about this one, Trilinga Swami. He would roam around naked in Benares. Benares, is a city famous for all these swamis and yogis. So the police, it was disturbing. So the police, what they did, they caught him and put him in the lockup, in the jail. Not jail, in the police custody, in the lockup. And he came out while the lock was still on. So this news spread everywhere. Oh, he's really... And people became more devoted to him. So but people may become devoted, people got captivated. But that doesn't mean he knows God, or he has seen God, or he can show you God. Some mystic siddhi he has. It is not his subject matter. His subject matter is some magic, some siddhi, some things like that. There was another Swami, which Prabhupada had heard of in Benares. He also had some siddhi, some powers. Anybody who would meet him, he would immediately produce 2 rasagullas in a pot. And then people would get bewildered. Oh, he's produced 2 rasagullas in a pot? And they would all go offer obeisances to him and, worship him and things, become captivated. No, he may produce, what is 2 rasagulla? 20 rupees you can get it. Those days some few annas. But that doesn't mean he can show God or he knows God. And Prabhupada was very sharp in these things. Even in those years, Prabhupada recalls in another lecture, when he was in Calcutta, this must have been somewhere, exact year is not mentioned, during Prabhupada's those earlier days, when he was in Calcutta, he was walking around one street, Cornwallis Street in Calcutta. And there was some person who was demonstrating something. And then, so he was giving everybody a piece of straw. And people were holding it, so Prabhupada was also passing by, so he gave Prabhupada also one piece of straw, dry grass. So Prabhupada took it in the hand, and after some time, it turned into kishmish, raisin. But Prabhupada was very sharp. You know what he did? He just threw it away. And he kept walking. He didn't get bewildered. See, even at that age, Prabhupada was so sharp, so clear. So this is not these are not the people whom we have to approach to understand God. God can be understood by devotion, by bhakti, by people who have genuine devotion, by people who have genuine bhakti. Today, unfortunately, bhakti is also misunderstood. People think bhakti means, oh, somebody is demonstrating a lot of bhakti. So, say somebody, like we see sometimes some songs being sung, that somebody is singing very nicely with a lot of musical instrument, oh Krishna, please come before me dancing with your flute. Prabhupada says like this. And we think that, oh, this person has got so much of bhakti. He's nicely singing for Krishna, Krishna, please come before me dancing with your flute. Oh, so nice he is. Prabhupada says, no, this is not bhakti. You're ordering Krishna. Krishna, please come before me dancing with your flute. This is an order given to Krishna. Krishna is not an order carrier. We have to carry out the orders of Krishna. So devotee, to see God, he is not ordering God, or he is not placing some condition. He is not going to some fake yogis. To see God is only by bhakti, and bhakti means surrendering to God, loving God unconditionally. Not telling God, under this condition you come or you do this to me, then I will understand you, you give me this, you should. No, nothing. Bhakti means just loving unconditionally. Then you can see God, then you can understand God. Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto adurlabham. God can be seen only when you become a real devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says the same thing. Ashlishya va padaratam pinashtumam adarshanam marmahatam karotu va. Yatha tatha va vidhadhatu lampato mat prananathastu sevan. Like sometimes people say, oh, God is there, I have a lot of bhakti, but why God is not coming? I've got so much of devotion for him, so there is no God. No. To see a devotee, Ashlishya va padaratam pinashtumam. You may trample me under your leg. You may embrace me improperly, or adarshana marmahatam karotuva. You may break my heart by not showing yourself to me, although I am calling out for you with love, but you are still not appearing. Doesn't matter. I will still remain surrendered at your lotus feet. This is devotion. This is bhakti. So bhakti, as Prabhupada says, is not a cheap thing. Unfortunately, in today's world, bhakti, because to see God, you need bhakti. And unfortunately, in today's world, bhakti is being misunderstood as some sentimental emotion. Bhakti is the most exalted state. Bhaktya tva ananya aham evam vidho Arjuna. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you can see me as I am because you are a devotee. Bhaktya tva ananyaya shakya. Apart from bhakti, tva ananyaya. Ananya means no other way you can see me. And what is this bhakti? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Ashlishya, just surrender to God. Then we can see God. So, here it is mentioned that seeing God requires some qualification, and we must strive for that qualification. Not make it a cheap thing, seeing God. The first qualification is my heart free from material desires? If my heart is not free from material desires, then I cannot see God. Just like many times we see people who have heard a lot about God from professional reciters, and they talk a lot about bhakti, they go and attend classes also, but the heart is full of material desires. So, seeing God means making your heart cleansed, free from all material desires, and the first step that we have to take in that direction to see God, to make a heart free from material desire, is to hear seriously from a pure devotee. Unless and until we hear seriously from a pure devotee, not from a devotee who is speaking very nicely, but whose heart is not clean himself, there will be no change in the heart. Change in the heart will come when we hear from the right source, from a self-realized person. So it's very important when we hear also whose words are we hearing. Not simply get bewildered by the contents or get bewildered by his speaking very nicely. Who is speaking is important. Only a pure devotee can change the heart of a soul. Only his words, even though his words may not be perfectly grammatically composed as it is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam also. But because he is a pure devotee, they are fully potent, impregnated with vitality. So that is important. Like I was mentioning the other day, people think that, okay, if I want to cleanse my heart, I want to become free from all desires, let me hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is the rule? They hear Bhagavata for 7 days. Bhagavat Saptaha, as is popular. It's very good actually, at least 7 days they are hearing. But by hearing for 7 days, if you're not hearing from the right source, it will make no difference. Parikshit Maharaj became completely cleansed and was able to see the Lord because for 7 days he was hearing from whom? From a pure devotee, Shukadev Maharaj. So Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavatam purport itself, if somebody seriously hears Srimad Bhagavatam from a self-realized soul, from a pure devotee, then how many days it takes for his heart to be completely cleansed of all material desires? How many days you think it will take for your heart to be completely cleansed of all material desires if you are seriously hearing from a self-realized soul? Prabhupada says it takes 1 day. Not even 7 days. And in the same purport he is writing, but if you're not hearing seriously from a self-realized soul Srimad Bhagavatam, then you may go on hearing for 700 years, it will make no effect. It will make there'll be no change in the heart. So you see the importance of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day and hearing in that parampara, the parampara of pure devotees and words spoken by the pure devotees and those who are associating with the pure devotees. So that is very important. Then we can see the Lord. Then we can understand the Lord. So the source is very important. If you're not connected to the right source, then it will have no effect. It will have no effect. So here, right now, how to understand that the Lord is with us, although we are not able to see the Lord. So in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning that he quotes 2 shlokas from the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. So we are not able to see the Lord directly because our eyes are not purified enough. But this is the way to understand the Lord and to act so that one day we may be able to see the Lord. Have faith that the Lord is there. Just like the eyes are existing. It is because of the eyes that the whole body is working so nicely. So similarly, Krishna is saying in the Gita, I am there. And where am I seated? Hridi sannivishto. I am there inside everyone's heart as a super soul. Matta smritir jnanam. And from me comes remembrance, from me comes knowledge, from me comes forgetfulness. So everything that we are able to do, speak, hear, act, think, everything is coming from the Lord. If the Lord is not there within our heart, we cannot do anything. We are part and parcels of the Lord, just like the child is completely surrendered to his parents. And whatever the child is doing is exactly as per the direction of the parents. Imagine if the parents is not there, what will happen to the child? The child is fully working as per the directions of the parents. In the same way, we have to understand the Lord is there. I may not be able to see Him. He's sitting in my heart and everything is happening. I'm able to do, I'm able to act, I'm able to think, I'm able to execute because the power is coming from me, from within me, from the super soul who is within me. And then Prabhupada quotes one more, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishtati. So see, sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Hriddeshi Arjuna Tishtati. So right now to see, we can actually see the Lord if we take to these instructions of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Lord is seated in my heart. And knowing this, that the Lord is seated in my heart, what should I be doing? And if Lord is everything, so Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita, because I am everything, from me everything is coming, you're fully dependent on me, you should surrender to me. This is the instruction that Krishna is giving in all the scriptures. Please surrender to me. Generally, when we talk of surrender, we remember that verse. Which is that verse of surrender? Exactly. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam 18.66. We sometimes miss out. There's another very interesting verse on surrender, and that is just after this verse of Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshi Arjuna Tishtati. And that verse, after Krishna says this, Ishvara Sarva Hriddeshi Arjuna Tishtati, I am in your heart. The next verse immediately after that, this is 18.62, 4 verses before 18.64, Krishna is saying, Tameva Sharanam Gacha. Tameva means to the super soul, means it's him only who's sitting in the heart. Tameva Sharanam Gacha. Sharanam Gacha means you please surrender to him. And now the next line he says, Sarva Bhavena Bharata. How we should surrender to the Lord. Sarva Bhavena Bharata. And Prabhupada uses a very nice verse to describe this, to explain the seriousness, how serious we should be to surrender to the Lord, and our whole life and soul and our body and all our energy, 24 hours should be engaged in how can I surrender to the Lord. That should be our only meditation. So Prabhupada says, O scion of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. See the word utterly means just surrender to him, because you are thinking yourself to be so great. Your greatness is only because of the Lord. So if the Lord is not there, there is no meaning in your existence. So please surrender. So, O scion of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. Sarva bhavena Bharata. And the next 2 lines, very nice. Tat prasadat param shan. Now you may still say, okay, will I benefit something if I surrender to him? Of course, our surrender is for love and for bhakti, nothing else. But Krishna is saying, just to reassure us, tat prasadat, by his mercy, if you surrender to him, param shantim, you'll not only get peace, you will get ultimate peace. And the last line, sthanam prapyasi shashvatam. You will attain a place. Sthanam prapyasi, you will attain shashvatam, which is eternal. You will attain an eternal place and you will get ultimate peace. So you see, if we can surrender to Lord, who's our everything, what Krishna is promising. And Prabhupada taught us very nicely that in this age, this surrender to Lord can happen very easily, simply by chanting the holy names of Lord attentively, hearing it attentively. Then we can completely cleanse the core of our heart, and then we will be able to see the Lord. So chanting is a process. So we must take up chanting very seriously, because this one process is the process to completely surrender to Lord and ultimately see the Lord. So these are some of the things discussed in today's verse. We'll end here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.